for melodic heavy metal. Playing it heavier, louder, raunchier, faster. This is the Signals of Intuition.
That was brand new Revolution Saints right there, the title track from their new record, Light in the Dark. Revolution Saints are a supergroup featuring Doug Aldrich from Whitesnake, Jack Blades from Night Ranger, and Deen Castronovo from Journey and many other bands on drums. You're listening to the Signals of Intuition, your home for melodic hard rock and heavy metal. And tonight on the show, we've got the last man I talked about, Mr. Deen Castronovo. He's going to be interviewed on the show, so let's get him on the line right now.
Hello?
Hey, is this Deen?
This is.
Hey, Deen, how's it going? It's Brandon calling from the Signals of Intuition.
How are you, Brandon?
Doing well. How you doing?
Awesome, bro.
Fantastic. Okay. So when I do these, I always like to start at the beginning and sort of learn about, your early life and how you evolved as a musician and that kind of thing, and then we'll work our way to the new record. So I guess from the beginning, where did you grow up and how did you get started in music?
Well, I grew up in, first Silverton, Oregon, then Salem, Oregon. I've been in Salem all my life now. So I grew up here, and I think my little brother was 7, and I was 8, and he brought home Kiss, Dressed to Kill. Well, there was like a friend of his brother's or something. And he brought it home, and I was hooked. I wanted to be in Kiss, dude. That was it. It was the coolest thing ever. And then, I got my first drum set, started playing, when I was like 7 or 8, just doing my thing. And yeah, man, that's how I started. And I didn't quit.
Were you one of those kids who were like 3 and 4 years old and just constantly banging on pots and pans and drumming on your desk? And
Yep. Oh, yeah, dude. Totally. I would get referrals for that stuff all the time. He plays on his desk constantly, the teachers. I ended up dropping out of high school because I just got tired of being picked on and bullied.
Oh, man. And then, obviously you're known as being an accomplished drummer. Do you play any other instruments?
I kind of mess around with guitar, bro, but not good. I mean, I can do some cool rhythms and stuff. I almost play like drums on the guitar. It's kind of interesting. So, I do that and I mess around with it a little bit, but no, I'm not good enough to be a guitarist.
Fair enough.
I'll stick with the drums, man. Yeah, I'll play the drums. I'm good with that.
And then, so tell me how you got started playing in bands. You mentioned, like dropping out of high school. Were you already trying to get involved with bands sort of full time as you did that? Like, was that kind of your impetus for dropping out?
Yeah, well, the reason I dropped out was we got to do 2 shows opening up for Foghat and Blue Oyster Cult back in 81, the Fire of Unknown Origin tour, I think it was. Anyway, I was 16, and we did 2 shows, one at Tingley Coliseum. I don't even know if that's still around. But yeah, couple shows, it was great, bro. And that's kind of what it was, and that band was called The Enemy. And then, it went from Enemy to Wild Dogs.
Wild Dogs were awesome. They were
really,
such
bro,
a great
you like
band.
That stuff?
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, all the classic metal stuff? Yeah, huge fan of all that stuff.
Oh, dude, I miss that band, man. They were great. It was the chemistry was so perfect with us. That was cool.
And then, so you guys did Wild Dogs for a couple of years, and then did that evolve into, was it Tony MacAlpine? Was that the next thing you did, or was it? Yes.
Yep, that's exactly right, bro. I mean, I went on my honeymoon after I got married my first time, and went to. I just felt in my heart it was time to move to San Francisco. So I packed all my stuff and moved alone to San Francisco and started working with Tony. And within, I think it was 3 or 4 months, in walks Neil Sean, and that opened that door. And he asked me if I would, he was going to do a solo record at that time and asked me if I would play. I said, yeah, dude. Then he told me about Bad English. He goes, I want you to come down and audition for this, me and you both. We went down there, and I ended up getting that gig, which is very, very awesome.
It's funny. I interviewed Johnny Gioeli about 6 months ago or so.
Yeah.
And I have a whole story of how Neil joined the band, and I completely neglected your part of the story. So I'm curious, so is it the same deal? Like Neil was jamming with Johnny and his brother, and then kind of we're like, well, we need a drummer. Is that kind of how that happened?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Neil was like, I'm playing with Johnny and Joe, and you're playing drums. That was it. He's just, you go, come with me. And so I went everywhere he went. I mean, I owe Neil a lot, man. I really do. If it wasn't for him and Mike Varney, those two guys, I wouldn't have a Crooner. So I'm very grateful.
It's funny mentioning that. I want to ask you about Go Off, and the other Marty Friedman record you did with him.
Yeah.
So was Varney a fan of MacAlpine? Is that how you got hooked up with him? Or?
Yeah, well, Varney he did the Shrapnel Records thing, and he was all about the guitarist, and he would, have people send him guitar, demos or whatever, and he would pick these guys out and say, oh, like that guy. He found Tony. And Tony didn't even play guitar on his demo. He played a Chopin piece on the piano and just blew Mike away. So, that's how he would pick guys like that. Marty Friedman, same thing, just find them.
That's unreal. Yeah, you look at all the people that he brought to the forefront. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I was one of his discoveries.
Paul Gilbert.
Gilbert, I was just going to say.
Yeah, Paul Gilbert. There's a lot of guys. Scott Travis. Some major dudes out there, so it's pretty cool.
It's unreal. And then, okay, so you go from Hardline. I know at that point Neil left to go do Journey. He went to go back to them.
Yeah.
And you went and joined Ozzy for Osmosis.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that gig come about?
Well, that was what was it? I was working with Steve Vai at the time. I did Alien Love Secrets with him.
Oh, so that was before Osmosis then, eh?
Yes, definitely. And so Steve asked me if I would play drums with Ozzy. I was like, yeah, because he was forming a band. He was getting guys together, Steve Vai was. And it ended up not working out. The studio, we were recording and stuff, and the label didn't like the direction that Steve was writing songs with, I guess, which I thought they were brilliant, but that's me. So he ended up leaving Steve, or letting Steve go, and it was just me. And then he brought Zach in. And Geezer Butler. So that was the killer lineup, man.
It's funny. I guess at that point Ozzy was trying to stick with you get two records with each guitar player, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so it seems like it. Because I talked to Michael Wagner not that long ago about sort of Osmosis. Were you a part of that when Wagner was still producing, or did you come in after?
You know what? I did the stuff with Michael Beinhorn producing.
Okay. Oh, so you came in a bit after.
That's when I was there, yeah. Yeah, Beinhorn was the producer for that record. So we stayed in Paris for, a month, 6 weeks there. We're just getting drum sounds, believe it or not.
I talked to Paul Northfield as well, and he was saying the same thing. He said that was like the most intense, drum sound session ever.
Yeah. Oh, Paul is awesome, man. I love working with him too. Just an amazing. Come on, look at his pedigrees with Rush. Come on, he's been with the biggest guys ever. So. Yeah, he did the GZR record with us. He produced that for Geezer.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was a part of that.
Yeah, he was the guy, man. That was awesome.
Oh man, that was such a good album. Very, very underrated.
Yeah, I agree, dude. It was kind of groundbreaking, and the second one wasn't as powerful in my opinion, but that's because Burton wasn't there.
Yeah, the first one was. I don't know if I've heard the second one, but the first one I remember just playing 1,000 times back in the day. What a great record! I got to pull it out at some point.
Oh, dude, I agree. Those were good times, man. That was when I was playing really good, man, I've gotten old now.
Well, such is life, right?
Yes, sir.
So after that, you jumped into Journey, obviously, and I'm guessing that was, a case of Neil being like, well, you've played with me in several other bands. Why not make it, 4 or whatever I think was up to that by that point?
Yep. That's what he did. He called me up and he goes, what are you doing, man? I said, I'm sitting here at my dad's house, and he's like, do you want to play with Journey? And I was like, are you serious? Yes, of course. He goes, well, it's going to be without Steve Perry, but we got the guy from Tall Stories. And I was like, oh, man, I love that guy. What's his name? Steve Ajeri. That's, so that's when they picked me and Steve to join the band.
Did you play on the song from Armageddon? I can't think of the name of it now.
Yes, Remember Me.
Yeah, that was such a good tune.
We did that recording in, I think it was at the record plant in New York or something like that, someplace in New York. Hit Factory, I don't know.
was that before Kevin Shirley joined, or was that joined to produce?
Yes. Well, Yes, as a matter of fact. Well, maybe he did produce it. I don't remember. It went by so darn quick, dude. I'm telling you, we did the thing in the day and left. So it was kind of interesting.
It was a one-day tune. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much, man. We did our homework, so we knew what we were going to do when we went in.
Sure. So were you guys already writing several tunes by that point? Like, were there plans to?
Oh yeah, Neil was going crazy, of course, and Jonathan was writing songs, and basically we would do little records here and there, like the EP, Red 13, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think. We had a bunch of songs written, and that's when, we brought them to the table and tried to record the best stuff we could, but, times have changed.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's funny, like Journey sort of had this resurgence the last, 10 years. I don't know if it's because of Family Guy and them playing Don't Stop Believin', or just, it kind of came out of nowhere, because Journey was obviously known and respected. But, I mean, I think, I know 12-year-old girls that listen to, Don't Stop Believin' and stuff. Like, it's kind of funny how the Journey just keeps going and going and going,
Yeah, dude, it's like the Energizer Bunny. They keep it up. And, I think Glee is what opened it up in The Sopranos.
Yes.
With Don't Stop Believin'. Those two shows is what opened that up, and then all of a sudden we had a #1 hit in England. Don't Stop Believin'. 30 years later.
That came back in like the early 2000s, really?
Yes, it came back. In England it came out because Glee was such a huge show in England, so they remember hearing Don't Stop Believin', and I guess they sang it in the show. So, pretty cool.
That's unreal. Wow. So that's like a Bohemian Rhapsody resurgence right there. That's unreal.
Pretty much.
Especially for to go to #1. Like, obviously came back and whatever, but to go to #1 is just incredible 30 years later.
I think we sold, was it 900,000? Or something like, no, I think 250,000 singles, which is pretty good over there. That's not bad. So, we did good, man. We did good.
And then, okay, so you do, obviously, was it one record or two with Steve Augeri?
It was Steve Augeri. I think we did, Generations, and we did Arrival, and Red 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then, Arnell came in for Revelation.
Yeah, that was a brilliant record. That one, I think I probably listened to, the most out of anything you've done. When that came out, it just, something about that record I've always been a Journey fan and whatnot, but that one just clicked. And I think part of it, too,
I agree. I agree with you totally, Brandon. It was like the chemistry was there, and man, we went into that studio and just blazed. I remember getting the drum tracks done in 5 days, which is like unheard of. Just doing like 2 songs a day. Just go ahead and do 2 songs and then 2 songs.
Now, did you do the new tunes and the re-recorded greatest hits at the same time?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I got all that stuff done.
So you literally pounded out 2 albums worth of stuff in 5 days.
But that's crazy. I look at it this way. I've got a good ear, so I'm able to listen to a song once or twice, and then just go into the studio and just nail it. And that's what happened in Bad English. Actually, we did our the first track that we recorded was Best of What I Got, and that came out one take. It was like friggin' the first one.
Tell me about that record too. Like, where did you record it? That kind of thing. That's a great record. I really don't know a whole lot about it because my CD has the CD and a ripped front cover, and I've like no information about it. Nothing.
Well, it was produced by Richie Zito, and
fabulous producer. So good.
Yeah, dude. So we did it at I think it was called One-on-One Studios, I think, in L.A., and we just, blocked out 2 months and just blazed, and then went home for Christmas, and then started up again, and, ended up getting it done. And it was my first major gig ever. So I was on cloud 9, just freaking out, because, the single came out, and it was starting to get huge, and it was amazing.
That that tour for the record, did you guys play like Journey, or what was kind of the set list like?
No,
it was just Bad English.
We just did Bad English, bro. That's it. We were opening up for Whitesnake and doing stuff like that. We opened up for Jeff Beck in Japan. Those were our first tours. So we didn't play Journey stuff. We just played the Bad English stuff. Well, we did Missing You. We did an acoustic version of Missing You. That's right. That was the only thing we did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I figure, especially, you know, Neil coming out of like one of the biggest rock bands on the planet and not playing something from that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, he had his guitar solo, so as long as he's got his guitar solo, he's happy.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
And then, okay, so you did that. I mean, it's funny too, because I've just like I was looking through your discography page earlier, and there's all these little tidbits of, because, you know, I've got probably like, I don't know, a dozen records or something of all the stuff you've done between Geezy R and Vi and Osmosis and all that stuff. And then you just sit there and you go, oh, you worked with, you know, oh my God, like Fear Factory and, you know, all those little things, like, wow.
Yeah, dude. I've done records. I mean, Social Distortion did that record.
Did a whole record?
White Light, White Heat,
Was
White
that?
Trash. I think it was called. Yes, I did that in 3 days too. Did the drum tracks in 3 days. I remember it well.
How about the Soul Circus record?
You know, that one was recorded. Let me think about it. I think it was recorded in San Francisco, and that came out. And I was having issues at that time, and I ended up doing the record. But I didn't tour with them. They ended up getting Virgil Donati to play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was playing for that, and I was still in Journey, of course. But I ended up not doing the tour with them, just the one record.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember when that record came out, and there was so much buzz surrounding that. I mean, between having you and Jeff and who else was in that band? I can't even remember now.
Jeff, me, Marco Mendoza, and Neil.
Oh, and Marco. Oh, my goodness. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, dude, he's a monster.
Yeah, I remember, too, like back in, that would have been, what, 03, 04? Something like that when that came out?
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I remember the first single drop, and I listened to that 3,000 times. Like, wow, okay, this is going to be fantastic.
Yep, exactly, bro. It was just amazing. It was a good record.
It was really cool. Okay, so
thank you, man.
let's hit this new band, Revolution Saints. I gotta say, I've only heard the first single from the new record so far, and I'm just like blown away by it. I've just like,
dude,
you guys
thank
just
you, man.
crushed it. It's really neat. You know, like listening to you step up to the mic. I mean, if I just sort of had it on the background, I probably would have thought that was, you know, like Arnell or something singing. Like, I'm like, that's a very Steve Perry quality.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude, that's my problem. I mean, he was my biggest influence. I can't help. Just like Sam Cooke was Steve Perry's influence, and you couldn't help sounding like him. I mean, I can't help it. And then I was in Journey. Not only was I a fan of Journey beforehand and loved Perry's voice at that point, I joined the band. And so that was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So, you know, it's like a dream come true. I'm going to sound similar, but not as good as Steve Perry. Nobody will be him. Nobody.
Sure. Oh, he's, I mean, just, you know, golden voice. The guy was absolutely, you know, touched by the hand of God. Like, he just reached his vocal cords and said, here you go. You know,
I agree.
Play, don't stop believing for the world. They will love you for it.
Yep. He had a gift, man. He still does, you know. I'm sure he's, you know, doing something.
And then, so how does this record come together? Not so much, well, the record too, but the whole band, because you guys are on number 2 now.
Yeah, well, that was the brainchild of Serafino, the president of Frontiers Records. He was like, Dean, I want to do a record with you. He wanted to do a solo record. And I was like, oh, okay, let me. And then he said, well, we're going to get these songs written for you. And then they sent them to me, and I was like, wow, they're a little dated sounding. And, you know, we thought, well, let's, you know, maybe we can fix them up. And so then Serafino asked, who would you like to play guitar? And I said, well, not Neil, because, you know, I think it was, he suggested Doug Aldrich. And I was like, perfect. I love Doug. Yeah. And then Jack
Doug's
Blake, I've
incredible.
known Jack since I was 17 or 18. So, you know.
Really?
Yeah, during the Wild Dogs days. The lighting director was, for Night Ranger was our manager.
Oh, okay.
The Wild Dogs manager. So that's how we got to meet the Journey guys, and we got to meet the Night Ranger guys. Way young, when I was like I said, 18, 19.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So then, did Neil, like, remember meeting you from back then when you guys hooked up later?
No, we were, you know, we went back there and, you know, said hi, and that was basically it. They were all, you know, packing up, getting ready to leave. So, yeah, it was after the show, but it was cool.
So, tell me this, are you guys planning on touring for this new album?
That's what we're hoping, bro. I mean, schedules permitting, we definitely want to play. It's really up to, I guess, the fans, and we got to make sure that, you know, everybody's got their schedules open for that. I have my schedule open. I got nothing to do right now, so I'm ready to go. But, you know, Jack's got Night Ranger, and Doug's got Dead Daisies and a bunch of other stuff. So it's going to be tough, but we'll find a way.
Okay, yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's really hard to gauge things like this because on the one hand, you guys all have names, but on the other hand, it's like being someone from Detroit. I mean, we got some pretty, cool shows coming through. I don't, I hope you guys would come to the area.
Dude, I think what we'll probably do, what we were talking about, is going to Japan in like January or February, and then doing Europe, and then doing the States.
Really? So you guys think you'll swing on through, like summer 2018, something like that?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping next year. That's what we're trying to do. So schedules permitting, we'll do it. And if it doesn't, then we won't. That's
really,
simple as
really
that.
that simple.
Yeah.
Yep, really that simple. So other than Revolution, you say kind of have nothing going on, but are there other plans for things in the works? Are there plans for a third Revolution Saints record?
Well, there is plans for a third Revolution Saints. We may record it in November, so I was just, maybe, I'm not sure. That was just something that they were talking about. And then there was a blues project that Neil wanted me to do with John Waite again, and but I haven't heard if that's been solidified or not. So that would be really cool to work with John again and Neil.
Yeah, that would be absolutely sweet.
So that's it. Basically, that's all I've got. I'm fine. I'm just hanging with my fiance and, my kids and being a dad. It's been awesome.
So, how does that feel, being sort of off the road, like, especially, I mean, you having toured for so many years with so many bands?
Yeah. Well, dude, it was like culture shock. I mean, like, you're in that journey bubble for so many years. And when it popped, it was like fish out of water. Well, okay, what do I do? How do I do this? And basically I took 2 years off, or about a year and a half off from music altogether. I just focused on recovery and trying to get my life together. So, pretty cool. It was good for me. I'd reconnected with my kids and reconnected with my fiance, and everything, just kind of came together, pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny, like talking with Johnny Gioeli, he's like, you go off for a little tour and then you come back home and your wife's like, can you take out the garbage? And you're like, garbage? What are you talking? Oh yeah, right. Yeah, garbage. That's what people do.
Exactly. My thing, dude, is I do laundry and I do the garbage and I do dishes. Those are my 3 chores. And I vacuum. So I do have chores to do. Deidre makes me do chores. But I'm used to them now. I do them all the time. It's great now. Yeah. I'm ready to go back on the road, though, bro. I mean, come on. I'd love to go play live again. Gosh, it's been forever, since April. I'm ready to go.
Well, I mean, here's hoping that happens and happens soon. I'd love to catch you on the road.
Yes,
I don't think I've seen you, because every time Journey comes through, I can never get tickets. They sell out like that,
Yeah, no, dude, you know what? You'll definitely, if we do some shows in that area, definitely, you got to come down.
Absolutely. I would absolutely love to check
But
that
I'll get you tickets. I'll hook you up.
That would be amazing. Thanks so much for taking the time out. And
thank you, man. That was a good interview, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Yep, thanks so much, Dean. Take it easy.
All right, have a good one, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.